Timnit Gebru, Amharic, Timnit Gebru, born 1983/1984. She is an advocate for diversity in technology and co-founder of Black in AI, a community of Black researchers working in artificial intelligence. In December 2020, her employment with Google as technical co-lead of the ethical artificial intelligence team ended after higher Google managers asked her to either withdraw an as-yet-unpublished paper or remove the names of all the Google employees from that paper, that is 5 of the 6 co-authors, leaving Emily M. Bender. She requested to know the names and reasons of everyone who made that decision and said she would work with Google on an employment end date after an appropriate amount of time, if not provided with that information. Google did not meet her request and terminated her employment immediately, saying they accepted her resignation. Google stated that the paper in question, titled On the Dangers of Stochastic Parrots, Can Language Models Be Too Big?, ignored recent research that showed methods of mitigating the bias in those systems. Her departure caused public controversy. Early life and education. Gebru was born and raised in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Her father died when she was 5 years old, and she was raised by her mother. Both her parents are from Eritrea. She eventually received political asylum in the United States. After completing high school in Massachusetts, she was accepted to study at Stanford University. There she earned her bachelor's and master's degrees in electrical engineering. Gebru worked at Apple Inc., developing signal processing algorithms for the first iPad. Gebru earned her doctorate under the supervision of Fei Lai at Stanford University in 2017. She used data mining of publicly available images. She was interested in the amount of money spent by governmental and non-governmental organizations trying to collect information about communities. To investigate alternatives, Gebru combined deep learning with Google Street View to estimate the demographics of United States neighborhoods, showing that socioeconomic attributes such as voting patterns, income, race, and education can be inferred from observations of cars. If the number of pickup trucks outnumbers the number of sedans, the community are more likely to vote for the Republican Party. They analyzed over 15 million images from the 200 most populated U.S. cities. The work was extensively covered in the media, being picked up by BBC News, Newsweek, The Economist, and the New York Times. Gebru presented her research at the 2017 LDV Capital Vision Summit competition, where computer vision scientists present their work to members of industry and venture capitalists. Gebru won the competition, starting a series of collaborations with other entrepreneurs and investors. Both during her PhD program in 2016 and in 2018, Gebru returned to Ethiopia with Jelani Nelson's programming campaign Addis Coder. After receiving her PhD, Gebru joined Microsoft as a postdoctoral researcher in the Fairness, Accountability, Transparency, and Ethics in AI Fate Lab. Career and research. Gebru worked at Google, where she was co-leading the team on the ethics of artificial intelligence with Margaret Mitchell. She studied the implications of artificial intelligence, looking to improve the ability of technology to do social good. She collaborated with the MIT research group Gender Shades. Gebru worked with Joy Buolamwini to investigate facial recognition software, finding that Black women were 35% less likely to be recognized than white men. When Gebru attended an artificial intelligence conference in 2016, she noticed that she was the only Black woman out of 8,500 delegates. Together with her colleague Ridayat Beb, Gebru founded Black in AI, a community of Black researchers working in artificial intelligence. Gebru also worked on Microsoft's Fairness, Accountability, Transparency, and Ethics in the AI team. In 2017, Gebru spoke on the Fairness and Transparency Conference, where MIT Technology Review interviewed her about biases that exist in AI systems and how adding diversity in AI teams can fix that issue. In her interview with Jackie Snow, Snow asked Gebru How does the lack of diversity distort artificial intelligence and specifically computer vision? And Gebru pointed out that there are biases that exist in the software developers. In 2019, Gebru and other artificial intelligence researchers signed a letter calling on Amazon to stop selling its facial recognition technology to law enforcement agencies because it is biased against women and people of color, citing a study. In a New York Times interview, Gebru has further expressed that she believes facial recognition is too dangerous to be used for law enforcement and security purposes at present. Exit from Google. Gebru ceased working for Google in December 2020. The circumstances of her departure are disputed. Gebru and some of her co-workers claimed that she had been fired from Google. Google executives Dr. Jeff Dean and Megan Kakolia claimed that she offered to resign and that her resignation was subsequently accepted by Google. She stated that she never offered to resign immediately, only said she would talk to her manager about a last date. Gebru had co-authored a paper on the risks of very large language models regarding their environmental and financial costs, inscrutability leading to unknown dangerous biases, the inability of the models to understand the concepts underlying what they learn, and the potential for using them to deceive people. In a mail sent to an internal collaboration list, Gebru describes how she was summoned to a meeting at short notice where she was asked to withdraw the paper, and says that her subsequent inquiries into the identities of the reviewers as well as how or why the decision had been taken were ignored. Gebru asked for certain conditions to be met in order to prevent her resignation, but Google's AI team was unwilling to meet those conditions and accepted her resignation on the same day. Jeff Dean, Google's head of AI research, replied with an email saying that they made the decision because the paper ignored too much relevant, recent research on ways to mitigate some of the problems described in it about environmental impact and bias of these models. Following the controversy, Google CEO Sundar Pichai issued an apology without admitting wrongdoing. Close to 2,700 Google employees and more than 4,300 academics and civil society supporters signed a letter condemning Gebru's alleged firing. In the aftermath, 2 Google employees resigned from their positions at the company. On 16 December 2020, Google's ethical AI research team demanded that Vice President Kakolia had allegedly fired Dr. Gebru without notifying Gebru's direct manager, Dr. Sami Bengio, first. Google's ethical AI team also demanded Megan Kakolia and Google's chief of AI, Jeff Dean, apologize for how Dr. Gebru was treated. 9 members of Congress sent a letter to Google asking it to clarify the circumstances around Timnit Gebru's exit. The controversy led to allegations of an online harassment campaign against Gebru and her supporters, including alleged harassment by machine learning researcher Pedro Domingos and businessman Michael Lissac. Post-Google. In June 2021, Gebru announced that she was raising money to launch an independent research institute modeled on her work on Google's ethical AI team and her experience in Black in AI. On 2 December 2021, she launched Distributed Artificial Intelligence Research Institute DARE, which is expected to document the effect of artificial intelligence on marginalized groups. Awards. Gebru, Joy Buolamwini, and Inioluwa Deborah Raji won VentureBeat's 2019 AI Innovations Award in the category AI for Good for their research highlighting the significant problem of algorithmic bias in facial recognition. Gebru was named one of the world's 50 greatest leaders by Fortune in 2021. Gebru was included in a list of 10 scientists who had had important roles in scientific developments in 2021 compiled by the scientific journal Nature. Selected publications: Gebru, Timnit Gebru, Jonathan, Wang, Yulun, Chen, Diane, Deng, Jaya, Aiden, Erez Lieberman, Fei Fei, Lai 12 December 2017. Using deep learning and Google Street View to estimate the demographic makeup of neighborhoods across the United States. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. 11450, 13108 13113. doi 10.1073/pnes 1,700,035,114. ISIN 27 minutes 8,424. PMC 5,740,675. PMID 29,183,967. Bulamwini, Joy Gebru, Timnit 2018. Gender Shades, Intersectional Accuracy Disparities in Commercial Gender Classification. Proceedings of Machine Learning Research. 81-115. ISIN 1938 minus 7,288. Gebru Timnit 9 July 2020. Race and Gender. In Dubber Marcus D. Pasquale Frank Das Unit eds. Das Unit eds. 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 Unit eds. Eds. The Oxford Handbook of Ethics of AI. Oxford University Press. pp. 251-269. doi 10.1093/Oxford/9,780,190,067,397.13. 16. ISBN 978-19-6739-7. Gebru, Timnit 1 August 2017. Visual Computational Sociology, Computer Vision Methods and Challenges PDF thesis.